Thank you for being a part of BSDN Live coverage of the Blair Bears. We're proud to partner with many local businesses that are supporting all of the Blair School activities. Join us in thanking them as well. Awful Nice Guys Heating and Air Conditioning, locally serving Washington County for 25 years and counting. Find out more about Mike Beebe and the team at awfulniceguys.com. Memorial Community Hospital and Health System, serving Blair, Fort Calhoun, and Tacoma with continued expansion of services from birth and beyond. Learn more at mchhs.org. Woodhouse Auto Family, serving our community and the world with all of your driving needs. Search woodhouse.com. For real estate, nobody knows Washington County like WC Real Estate. Blair Eye Associates, Dr. Ryan Palmer. Jackson and Associates, Inc. RVR Bank for your local banking and wealth management needs. Balls Out Motors, Tax and Business Consultants, Turnkey Nerds, SEI Security Equipment, Inc., and Great Plains Communications.
Platteview Sports Complex and the Class B2 Subdistrict. Our first game this afternoon, we have the Platteview Trojans versus the Blair Bears. At this time, would you please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
That's what I was thinking. It's not like the live music, he lost this time. Yeah, well, accurate. Probably the Australian or something. Well, who'd happen? John Owens.
Hello and welcome to this B2 Subdistrict softball game this afternoon between the Blair Bears, and who are seeded number 1, and the number 4 seeded Platteview Trojans. This is Craig Houghton bringing you softball coverage here on BSDN Live on this glorious Monday afternoon, the 6th of October. We're fortunate to start postseason play right here, right now, where it's a 4-team subdistrict. So the number 1 seed is your Blair Bears. The number 2 seed is Ralston. Number 3 is Omaha Mercy. And number 4 is the Platteview Trojans. And to my knowledge, this will be the first time that Blair has faced Platteview. And so let's set the lineup for Platteview. Batting first is Reese Lingle, number 7. She's the second baseman. Number 2 will be Chloe Fryer. She plays left. Next will be Kinsey Knife, the catcher. 7 will be Skylar Raymond. She's the designated hitter. Batting 8th will be Maddie Romans. Batting 9th will be Elena Nelson. And then the flex player will be Neva McAfee. And so we're quickly 0-2 here. That one swung on and missed for strikeout number 1 of the day for Janning. And now up to bat will be the number 3 batter, Chloe Hartman, the shortstop. And so if you're Blair here, you really want to try and put the hammer down early if you can against the Platteview Trojans, who come into the year 10-18. That first one was swung on and missed. That one hits the outside corner for a strike, and it's quickly 0-2. But as I was saying, I think a fast start is important here today for Blair, where it's not quite a win or go home type scenario. You'd like to think that with, and that one swung on and missed for strikeout number 2. So Chloe Hartman goes down swinging for the 3rd out. So that will take us to the bottom of the first inning. There were 2 strikeouts and 1 ground out. So we'll be back in 60 seconds on BSDN Live.
Thank you for being a part of BSDN Live coverage of the Blair Bears. We're proud to partner with many local businesses that are supporting all of the Blair School activities. Join us in thanking them as well. Awful Nice Guys Heating and Air Conditioning, locally serving Washington County for 25 years and counting. Find out more about Mike Beebe and the team at awfulniceguys.com. Memorial Community Hospital and Health System, serving Blair, Fort Calhoun, and Tacoma with continued expansion of services from birth and beyond. Learn more at mchhs.org. Woodhouse Auto Family, serving our community and the world with all of your driving needs. Search woodhouse.com. For real estate, nobody knows Washington County like WC Real Estate. Blair Eye Associates, Dr. Ryan Palmer. Jackson & Associates, Inc. RVR Bank for your local banking and wealth management needs. Balls Out Motors, Tax and Business Consultants, Turnkey Nerds, SEI Security Equipment, Inc., and Great Plains Communications.
All right, so here we go with the bottom of the first inning. To set the lineup for the Bears, so batting first will be number 8, Lainey Brown, the center fielder. Batting second will be Mia McLean, number 21, the second baseman. Batting third will be Brooke Janning, number 17, the pitcher. Batting in the cleanup spot will be J.C. Sheath, number 1, the catcher. Batting fifth will be Caitlin O'Neill, number 22. Batting sixth will be Emmy Hall, number 3. Batting seventh will be Taylor Munger. Batting eighth will be Reagan Blatter. And the 9 hitter will be Tatum Macklin, number 33. So that one's in there for a called strike on Brown, who leads us off. And so the schedule today, Blair's playing now, which just a little after noon on Monday. That one's hit, flies out to the right field in there for a bloop hit, and Laney's on board with her first at bat with a single. But as I was saying, the schedule for today is Blair and Platteview are playing now. Ralston and Omaha Mercy will play on the RVR field at 1:30. and then the winners will square off at 3. That one's in there for a ball. Brown takes second with the steal. And so now McLean is up to bat. And it's always a mystery what McLean is going to do when she gets up to bat, whether she decides to bunt, whether she decides to slap or hit away. But Blair got the bonus there by, that one's attempted at, but goes foul. And the count is now 1-1. But McLean, I think when she first got up to bat, the goal was to get Brown to second base. But with Laney stealing second base, now it kind of opens up your options here for McLean to try and put an early dent in this game. That one's outside for a ball, and the count is now 1-2 to McLean. But it really gives you quite the luxury to have McLean with those treasure trove of talents. That one's high for a ball. And heck, she could just walk right here. Depends on what Platteview decides to do. The pitcher for the Platteview Trojans is Paisley Pecklow, number 10. That one's bunted, but McLean beats out the throw for an infield single. And so now if you're Blair, you've got the best of both worlds. You've got someone on both first and third with your best hitter up to bat in Brooke Janning. And so if you're Blair, you couldn't ask for a better start against the Platteview Trojans. So Blair comes into the game today 25-7. Platteview is 10-18. That one swung or attempted at. Here comes Brown to score with a stolen base of home. So the score is now 1-0 Blair on that pass ball. Mia McLean goes to second, and so the count is now 0-1 to Janning. That one's high and gets past the catcher, and that allows McLean to go to third. And so now anything hit hard should score a run, and Blair could quickly be up 2-0 here. That one's low, and that one's away too, and here comes McLean to score. And the score is now Blair 2-0 here early in the top of the first inning with Janning up to bat. Boy, you couldn't have asked for a better start there, especially to get your first 2 runs in without Janning really having to do a whole lot. That one's a called strike, and the count is now 2-2 to Janning. And Janning is the Bears' lone senior in the lineup. That one's fouled out of play along the left field fence. But as I was saying, this is Brooks' last go-around as a high school senior. And I know I, for one, am getting kind of sad to see her, we'll be sad to see her go as she heads to West Texas A&M next year to play collegiate softball. Full count here. That one swung on and hit hard. That bounces off the second baseman and into center field. So now Blair's got their first 3 batters on board with the cleanup hitter, J.C. Sheath, the catcher, now up to bat. And so we'll have a courtesy runner in this situation. It looks like it's going to be London Larson running for Brooke Janning. And so J.C. Sheath is up to bat for her first at bat of the game. That one gets past the catcher, and London goes off to steal second. And so you're starting to notice a little bit of a theme here for Blair. They're going to be aggressive on the base pass and also look to be aggressive at the plate, which you love to see. Count is 1-0 That one's called a called strike. And the count is now 1-1. So couldn't have asked for a nicer day here. It's absolutely gorgeous here at the Blair U Softball Complex. That one's hit, towering fly ball to the right fielder who drops it, and that's going to get runners to and here comes London Larson in to score. So we'll count that as an error on the right fielder, but Sheath is going to get the RBI for London Larson, who came all the way around to score. So Sheath is going to have Elena Welty now a courtesy run for her. And so you've got now the fifth batter up. The score is now 3-0 Blair, with your fifth batter, Caitlin O'Neill, now up to the plate. That one's hit past the first baseman, and it's a fair ball. And that's going to bring in Elena Welty to score and help Caitlin get a stand-up double, and the score is now 4-0. So Blair has scored on their first four batters of the game. And so, boy, you couldn't have asked for a better start here. Now up to bat is Emmy Hall, the left fielder. That one looked like, about the same shot as Caitlin O'Neill, but that one went foul for Emmy. And so now the count is 0-1. And this was the hope this was my hope that Blair would start fast today, and boy, they really have. So it's been fun to see, especially against the team that doesn't have the record like you do. That one's up high for a ball, and the count is now 1-1. But I'm very pleased as I look out in the outfield to see the nice crowds that we've got assembled for this early afternoon game. That one's called strike. And so the count is now 1-2 to Hall. But as I look out in the outfield, I see a mix of high school students, which is awesome. That one's lined foul. Nice job by Hall there to keep the at-bat alive. But I see a nice mix of parents and high school students. I know as a parent of some Blair high school students myself, my son was excited to get out of school any way that he could. So not surprising that a lot of those high school kids are here, but that's pretty awesome that they are. That one was a ball. And I'd have to imagine that there's probably a fair number of students also watching in their classrooms today. That one's fouled back. And so we want to say hello to all of you that are watching us on BSDN Live here for this opening sub-district game between Blair and Platteview. And so the count is now 2-2. That one's up high. The count now goes full for the sophomore Emmy Hall. And if you're the pitcher here, Paisley Pecklow, you got to try and dial it in so you can get an out here if you can. That one swung on and missed by Emmy Hall, and that'll be out number 1 for Blair. And that's strikeout number 1 for Paisley Pecklow. And so that will bring up number 18, Taylor Munger, the third baseman. That one's low for a ball. And you've got the speedy O'Neill out on second base. So you'd like to think anything that gets through would also lead to an RBI. So it'll be interesting to see what Taylor's able to do here. That one's up high. That one's called strike. The count is now 2-1. You could see the look on Taylor's face there. She wanted to swing at that last one. That one's hit up for a foul and goes out of play. So the count is now 2-2. Peklo gets the sign. The wind up in the pitch. That one was up high. Good job there by Taylor Munger to hold off. And so the count is now full. You also love to hear the cheering coming from the Blair Bear bench. It seems like you either love or hate the cheers, but that one's down low for a ball. So Munger is aboard with a walk. That's going to bring up the number 8 batter, Reagan Blatter, number 14. In this bottom of the first inning with Blair leading now 4-0 as we get sub-district play started. The windup in the pitch. That one's offered at, but pulled back, but then called for a strike. And so the count is now 0-1, but O'Neill and Munger both stole regardless. So we've seen that now twice from Blair where they've had the bunt, the hit and run call. The run has continued, the bunt hasn't, but still worked out in Blair's favor. That one swung on and missed by Blatter. And the count is now quickly 0-2 to the sophomore first baseman. Boy, a hit here would really blow this game wide open. That was a hit, but unfortunately went foul. And the count remains 0-2. And so we got one out here in the top of the first inning. That one's up high, and the count is now 1-2. And so if you're Platteview here, you want to get these next two batters out. Number 8 hitter Reagan Blatter and the number 9 hitter Tatum Macklin before you get back to the top of the order. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. That one's popped up and out of play. And the wind, it looks like it's blowing out ever so slightly here today, kind of out to center field. So let's see if Reagan can't get a hold of one, take advantage of that. That one's hit hard down the third baseline, but just goes foul. Really a pretty view here today at the Blair U Softball Complex. You've got the leaves starting to change. You got a little chill in the air. You can definitely tell that fall is upon us. And it's hard to believe, but the softball, the regular season is over. Now it's postseason play. That one swung on and missed by Blatter, who goes down swinging. And now to bat will be the number 9 hitter, Tatum Macklin, the right fielder. So that's 2 strikeouts now for Paisley Peklo. That first one's high. And if you're Blair, you love your chances with Janning on the mound and a 4-0 lead, but you'd sure love some more insurance right here if you could get it. That one's popped up and caught by the shortstop for the third out. So Blair scores 4 runs in the bottom of the first. Had, 2 left on base. And so we'll now go to the top of the second. Blair leading 4-0. We'll be back in 60 seconds on BSDN Live.
Thank you for being a part of BSDN Live coverage of the Blair Bears. We're proud to partner with many local businesses that are supporting all of the Blair School activities. Join us in thanking them as well. Awful Nice Guys Heating and Air Conditioning, locally serving Washington County for 25 years and counting. Find out more about Mike Beebe and the team at awfulniceguys.com. Memorial Community Hospital and Health System, serving Blair, Fort Calhoun, and Tacoma with continued expansion of services from birth and beyond. Learn more at mchhs.org. Woodhouse Auto Family, serving our community and the world with all of your driving needs. Search woodhouse.com. For real estate, nobody knows Washington County like WC Real Estate. Blair Eye Associates, Dr. Ryan Palmer. Jackson and Associates, Inc. RVR Bank for your local banking and wealth management needs. Balls Out Motors, Tax and Business Consultants, Turnkey Nerds, SEI Security Equipment, Inc., and Great Plains Communications.
All right, you're looking live at B2 Subdistrict Softball between Blair and Platteview. Up to bat is the number 4 hitter, Paisley Pecklow, the pitcher. That first pitch by Janning is swung on and fouled back, so the count is now 0-1. I always love the pitcher-on-pitcher duel. That one's in there. Swung on and missed, and the count is now 0-2. And with Janning, it'll be interesting to see what she does in this situation because she's got room for margin if she wants to sprinkle in a. That one's fouled back. And I like the rhythm and the speed at which she's pitching right now. She seems to have found her rhythm early in this ball game. That one swung on and missed for strikeout number 3 for Janning. And so Pecklow goes down on strikes. That will bring up the number 5 hitter, Mel Ostrander, the third baseman. Janning gets a sign. The windup in the pitch. In there for a strike. And if you're Platteview in this situation, you got to be a little bit shell-shocked. Here you are. You've played an inning of softball, and you find yourself down 4-0. That one's just missed the outside corner. And so the count is now 1-1. The windup in the pitch. Swung on and missed there by Mel Ostrander. So the count is now 1-2. And I'd have to believe that's what had to have been one of the primary goals for Blair today, was to come out swinging both on offense and defense, and did just that. So that's strikeout number 4, for Brooke Janning. So Mel Ostrander goes down swinging. That will bring up the catcher, Kinsley Knief. And with that, that's 4 strikeouts for Brooke Janning, the all-time, who already has the all-time leading strikeout record for Blair, just adding to her total as she goes through the postseason. That first one was in there for a strike, and the count is now 0-1. That one swung on and missed, and you can just kind of tell with the way the Platteview batters are hitting it or swinging at this, that they've maybe not seen the caliber of pitching that Janning is. And that one's swung on and missed for strikeout number 5 for Brooke Janning. We'll now transition to the bottom of the second inning with Blair leading 4-0. We'll be back in 60 seconds on BSDN Live. And you are looking live at the Blair U Softball Complex on the beautiful Washington County Bank field. This is Craig Houghton bringing you the action today of this B2 subdistrict for Class B. We've got the Blair Bears at 25-7 versus the number 4 seed Platteview Trojans, who come in 10-18 on the season. Up to bat will be the number 1 batter, or the leadoff batter for Blair, Lainey Brown. She singled to right field in her first at bat. On the mound for Platteview, you still got Paisley Pecklow. This first one's fouled back, and the count is now 0-1 to Brown, who's done a nice job this year out in center field. And so you'd love nothing more than a repeat of that first inning if you could, if you're Blair. So that one's hammered down the left field line, but just goes foul. And so the count is quickly 0-2 for Brown. And I'm very pleased to share that the stands, both behind home plate as well as in the outfield, continue to grow. That's awesome. That one's a bit inside for a ball. But I'm very pleased with the attendance for this midday game as the Bears open up their postseason play. That one's bounces in front of the plate for a ball. So the count is now 2-2. And we just want to take a moment to thank our sponsors for bringing you this live action on BSDN Live. That one's up high, and the count is now full. But without our sponsors, we couldn't do this, so we just appreciate all of their support throughout the year. And the year is far from over if these Bears have anything to say about it. So it'll be interesting to see how this postseason plays out. That one's fouled off the right field, down the right field line. And so the count remains full. Paisley gets the sign. That one's outside and called a ball. So that'll be a walk for Brown. And the last time she was up, she was able to steal second base. McLean was going to bunt, but then pulled back, and Brown was able to steal regardless. So now with no outs, Mia McLean comes up to bat. She's the talented sophomore. That one's called strike. Looks like it's going to be a repeat of the first inning. Brown steals second. McLean is down 0-1 in the count. That one's up high. If you're Blair, you'd love, nothing more than to have Groundhog's Day here in the second inning. See if you can't repeat the successes of the first inning, but we shall see. Oh, that one's hit. She's hit by a pitch. And so that will bring up Blair's best hitter, Brooke Janning, up to bat with both the first 1 and 2 batters reaching base successfully. And so Brooke reached on an error in her first at bat. That one's outside and called a ball. Last I checked, Brooke was batting over 500 on the year, and so has had a fantastic season thus far, both in the circle for the Bears as well as that one's hit sharply out to right center. That's gonna get her to second and probably plate 2 for the Bears, and it will. So that's an RBI double for Brooke Janning to push the score to now 6-0 for the Bears. So great job there by Brooke Janning, hammering that pitch out to right center. And she was on her horse and got all the way to second. And so 2 RBIs there for Brooke Janning on the double. We'll have a courtesy runner in London Larson. That will bring up the number 4 hitter, J.C. Sheath. That first pitch is low for a ball. And so now with the score 6-0, that adds 2 more insurance runs to the game for Janning. That one's up high. And what a great start to this inning as well as the game for the Bears today. That one's low, but London takes off and steals third. And so now you've got runner on third, J.C. Sheath up to bat. No outs here in the bottom of the second inning. And you just hope that the hits can continue here. That one's hit to third base. Throws over to first in time to get J.C. Sheath out, but not before London Larson races in to score. So that'll be an RBI for Sheath on the ground out. But that pushes the score to 7-0 in favor of the Bears. And so now up to bat will be Caitlin O'Neill. And that hits her in the back of the head. The home plate umpire checks on her. I think he must have joked with her that good thing she's got a hard head or a hard helmet. But she looks like she's okay. And will take the base on after being hit. So nice piece of umpiring there by the home plate umpire, who also went and talked to Paisley Pecklow just to make sure that she was okay too. And so that's going to bring up the number 6 hitter, Emmy Hall. That one was outside, gets away from the catcher, and Caitlin O'Neill is off to second base. That one bounces in front of the plate, and that allows Caitlin O'Neill to get around to third. And so you've got the count 2-0 to Emmy Hall. That one's hit foul down the right field line. The count goes to 2-1. Emmy struck out in her first at bat. A hit here would push the lead to 8-0 potentially. That one's hit sharply to the right fielder, who had it in her glove but dropped it, and so Emmy will reach on the air, but also get an RBI. And also get the RBI. So that's going to bring up, that scored Caitlin O'Neill, so the score is now 8-0. That one got away from Pecklow, bounced in and got past the catcher. So that allowed Emmy Hall to get to second base. Up to bat is now Taylor Munger, and the count is now 1-0, or 1-0. That one's in there for a strike, and the count is now 1-1. And so here you are. Here we find ourselves in the bottom of the second. The score being 8-0. If you're Blair, you just got to keep your pedal to the metal. See if you can end this game early. That one's popped up by Munger, and that one's caught by the shortstop, Chloe Hartman, for out number 1 here in this bottom of the second inning. So now that brings up the sophomore first baseman, Reagan Blatter. She struck out swinging. That one's hit high to the center fielder, who misjudges it. It drops, and it's going to score Emmy Hall. So we'll call that an error on the center fielder. But Reagan gets the RBI, and that pushes the score to 9-0. That one looked like it maybe got caught up in the sun. It is a bright and sunny day here in Blair. And so that's going to bring up Tatum Macklin. That one's a called strike on the sophomore right fielder who popped up for the third out here in the first inning. So the count is now 0-1. One out. That one's fouled back. And so if you're Coach Fangmeyer, you really got to love the way your team has jumped out here against Platteview. Count is now 0-2 to Macklin. That one's hit to the second baseman, who fields it cleanly and gets Macklin out, but she did her job. And so now that was the third out. So she grounded out to second. We will go to the top of the third. Blair leading 9-0. We'll be back in 60 seconds on BSDN Live.
Thank you for being a part of BSDN Live coverage of the Blair Bears. We're proud to partner with many local businesses that are supporting all of the Blair School activities. Join us in thanking them as well. Awful Nice Guys Heating and Air Conditioning, locally serving Washington County for 25 years and counting. Find out more about Mike Beebe and the team at awfulniceguys.com. Memorial Community Hospital and Health System, serving Blair, Fort Calhoun, and Tacoma with continued expansion of services from birth and beyond. Learn more at mchhs.org. Woodhouse Auto Family, serving our community and the world with all of your driving needs. Search woodhouse.com. For real estate, nobody knows Washington County like WC Real Estate. Blair Eye Associates, Dr. Ryan Palmer. Jackson & Associates, Inc. RVR Bank for your local banking and wealth management needs. Balls Out Motors, Tax and Business Consultants, Turnkey Nerds, SEI Security Equipment, Inc., and Great Plains Communications.
All right, we're back. This is Craig Houghton on BSDN Live for this B2 subdistrict between Blair, your Blair Bears, and the Platteview Trojans. We've had a pitching change, and so now on the mound will be the junior Abby Leggett to face the 7, 8, and 9 hitter here in the the top of the third. Up to bat first will be Skylar Raymond. Skylar is the designated hitter for the Platteview Trojans. That first one's called ball. That one swung on and missed, and the count goes to 1-1. So for Janning in this first game, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikeouts through 2 innings. And with a 9-0 lead, I think a very smart move on behalf of Coach Fangmeyer to bring in Leggett to see if she can't do a good job in relief. And you love to see that some of the other gals getting an opportunity, because you know that you're going to need Janning later today. Assuming that Blair finishes this one, you're going to need her in that 3 o'clock game. So nice piece of coaching there on behalf of the Blair Bears. And so the count is now 1-2. That one swung on, fouled just outside the right field line. Macklin did a good job chasing, but just couldn't catch that one, or couldn't get there in time, excuse me. So the count remains 1-2. The windup in the pitch. That one's good job there by Leggett with the changeup to get the number 7 batter, Skylar Ryman, swinging. And so that's strikeout number 6 on the day for the Blair Bear pitching staff. That brings up Maddie Romans. She's the first baseman for the Platteview Trojans. This will be her first at bat. That first one's low and outside. Called a ball. Ooh, that one's hit sharply to first baseman, who does a nice job. Boy, good defense there, because Mia McLean was able to catch it. It caromed off of Reagan's glove over to the second baseman, Mia McLean. Reagan quickly jumped over to first base and caught it in time. So good defensive effort there by the Bears for out number 2. So that will go to a ground out to the second baseman. And that brings up the number 9 batter, Elena McAfee, who pops up to McLean. So that'll be out number 3 here in the top of the third. We'll be back in 60 seconds on BSDN Live.
Thank you for being a part of BSDN Live coverage of the Blair Bears. We're proud to partner with many local businesses that are supporting all of the Blair School activities. Join us in thanking them as well. Awful Nice Guys Heating and Air Conditioning, locally serving Washington County for 25 years and counting. Find out more about Mike Beebe and the team at awfulniceguys.com. Memorial Community Hospital and Health System, serving Blair, Fort Calhoun, and Tacoma with continued expansion of services from birth and beyond. Learn more at mchhs.org. Woodhouse Auto Family, serving our community and the world with all of your driving needs. Search woodhouse.com. For real estate, nobody knows Washington County like WC Real Estate. Blair Eye Associates, Dr. Ryan Palmer. Jackson and Associates, Inc. RVR Bank for your local banking and wealth management needs. Balls Out Motors, Tax and Business Consultants, Turnkey Nerds, SEI Security Equipment, Inc., and Great Plains Communications.
You are looking live here at the Blair U Softball Complex. This is Craig Houghton bringing you action, this B2 Subdistrict action between your Blair Bears and the Platteview Trojans. Here we are at the bottom of the third inning. Blair leading 9-0. Up to bat. Looks like we're going to have number 7, Hannah Houghton, in for Lainey Brown. And so another nice piece of coaching here by Coach Fangmeyer. And she's gonna, with a comfortable lead, gonna sub in some other players to get their first taste of postseason action. And so now pitching for Platteview is number 7. Let's see, number 7 will be Reese Lingle for Platteview. Houghton will get her first at bat here of this game. So the lefty junior steps up to the plate. And so this will be Reese Lingle's first batter as well. That one's fouled off down the third base line. So the count is now 0-1. And you can just hear the sense of excitement over in the Blair dugout. Lingle gets the sign. That one's low, and the count is now 1-1. But yeah, it's amazing. Just reading the body language and the communication between the two sidelines. The windup, the pitch. That one's up high. Good job there by Houghton to lay off on that. The count is now 2-1. That one's a called strike. Count is now 2-2. Oh, that one's fouled back. The count is still 2-2 to Houghton. Lingle looks over. That one's hit to the shorts, or hit to the second baseman, goes off for glove. We'll count that as an infield single for Houghton to lead off the third inning. And so that's the third straight inning that Blair has gotten their leadoff hitter on board. And that's going to bring up Mia McLean, who's had an infield single, and her last at bat was hit by a pitch. That one's lined up into the center field by Mia McLean. Houghton is going to stop right there. And so Blair's got their first 2 batters on board by that that single by McLean. And that makes her 2 for 3 on the day. That's going to bring up the pitcher, Abby Leggett, now up to bat. That one's hit down the left field line, bounces out in the parent section. And so the count is now 0-1 to Leggett as she kind of smiles and as she notices where that one went. Now we'll see if she can't straighten it out right here. And so if you're Platteview, you're down 9-0. You want to stop the bleeding. That one's hit hammered by Leggett out to, it's going to bounce off the wall. Going to score 2 by Leggett on the RBI double by Leggett. And so great piece of hitting there by Leggett. And that scores both Houghton and McLean for the Bears. So the score is now 11-0. Coach Fangmeyer's out to talk to the home plate umpire. We're going to see a courtesy runner, London Larson, for Abby Leggett in that situation, who came through in the clutch and got an RBI double. So nice job there by her. Now up to bat, J.C. Sheath, who reached on an error and had an RBI ground out in her previous at-bats. That one bounces in front of the plate. And the count is now 0-1. And so I believe the run rule could potentially come into effect here, depending on how this one plays out. That one gets past the catcher. That one Larson took off. There's a throw down to third base, and Larson got there in time. So now we've got runner on third. Looked like it was a close play at third, but it looked like London was able to get her arms around the tag. That one was swung on and missed, so the count goes to 2-1. No outs here in the bottom of the third. Okay, the home plate umpire just came and clarified that count is 1-2 to J.C. Sheath. That one, nice job by the catcher to snag that wild one, the wild pitch. But the count now goes to 2-2. And the Platteview pitcher is number 7, Reese Lingle. That one's up high. So J.C. Sheath is showing some good discipline here. That's ball 4, and Sheath is aboard with a walk. And we're going to see a courtesy in Elena Welty for J.C. Sheath. And so now the Bears have runners on first and third with Caitlin O'Neill up to bat. She got a double in her first at bat and was hit by a pitch in the second. That one's outside for ball 1. And I'm not 100% certain what the run rules are, but I know that Blair's got to be flirting with it with their outstanding performance. That one's hit hard out to left field, and it's a home run. And so that's going to be a 3-run home run for Caitlin O'Neill. What an outstanding swing by the sophomore. So great job there, and that may just be the ball game. And so Blair's going to win this opening round game. The final score, 14-0 here by the Blair Bears, who win this opening sub-district game against the Platteview Trojans on a 3-run walk-off home run by Caitlin O'Neill. So great job there by the sophomore. who put an electric swing into that one, and that's going to finish this opening game. Blair wins it 14-0, and now we'll play again at 3 o'clock against the winner of Omaha Mercy, the 3 seed, versus Ralston, the 2nd seed. And so we'll be back to carry that 3 o'clock game on BSDN Live. This is Craig Houghton signing out.
Okay, we're good.
Good job, Kelly.
Get it.